Hello and Minglaba. Happy Myanmar New Year, everyone. Welcome to Myanmar Radio's Myanmar Today. I'm Henry Zin. Myanmar's New Year, the water festival, used to be very happening, but Yangon's community on the third day of Thingyan this year seems really dry. Working-class people find it difficult to work during Thingyan festival holidays. Ongoing COVID-19 crisis causes a 90% decrease in YBS commuters. And a story coverage on the public staying at home to prevent COVID-19 infection during Thingyan holidays. All of that on this edition of Myanmar Today, but now let's take a look at what's happening in local news. State Councillor and Chairperson of the National Level Central Committee on Prevention, Control and Treatment of Coronavirus Disease, Aung San Suu Kyi, participated in the video conferences of the Special ASEAN Summit on COVID-19 at 7:30 a.m. and the Special ASEAN Plus 3 Summit on COVID-19 at 1:30 p.m. on Tuesday from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Naypyidaw. In her statement, the State Councillor apprised the summits of the measures taken by the government for the prevention, containment and treatment of COVID-19, its response to address the health and socio-economic impacts of the global pandemic through whole-of-government approach, as well as the government's rigorous efforts in mobilizing the strength of the people and seeking the public participation. The State Councillor shared her experience by emphasizing the importance of 4 Ps, namely political leadership, preventive measures, people's participation, and the support of partners to contain the virus and to lessen socio-economic implication. The declaration of the Special ASEAN Summit on Coronavirus Disease 2019 and joint statement of the Special ASEAN Plus 3 Summit on Coronavirus Disease were adopted during each special summit. Senior General Mayor Line donated foodstuffs such as rice, cooking oil, salt and bean to ex-servicemen and their family members in Tidim Township, Chin State. Officials from the Township Office of Ex-Servicemen distributed food rations to ex-servicemen and their family members in the township on Tuesday. A total of 613 ex-servicemen and their family members received the donated foodstuffs. The Ministry of Health and Sports had announced the 14-day facility quarantine, followed by another 14-day home quarantine for prevention of COVID-19 infection from the foreign visitors and the positive patients. However, the World Health Organization has announced that the transmission of the disease is possible before 2 days and until 28 days of symptoms, and that the infection of disease is possible during these periods. A research conducted in China has shown that strict and systematic quarantine for 21 days could contain the outbreak of disease up to 98.7%. Moreover, some regional countries are practicing a total of 28 days for both hospital or facility quarantine and home quarantine. Especially, the 28-day quarantine period is found in the countries with only limited laboratory tests. Out of 28 positive cases for COVID-19 in Myanmar, some positive patients are imported cases and closed persons with them. Furthermore, the lab tests of the National Health Laboratory and the contact tracings at regions or states have shown that some confirmed patients and some quarantined persons for more than 14 days were still tested positive. Therefore, the Ministry of Health and Sports has extended the 14-day facility quarantine to the 21-day community-based facility quarantine or hotel quarantine and 7-day home quarantine, totaling 28-day quarantine. Union Minister for Social Welfare, Relief and Resettlement, Dr. Wimya A. held a video conference on Tuesday to coordinate the protection, containment and response to COVID-19 concerning IDP camps across the nation. The Union Minister said they have prepared COVID-19 response plans for IDP camps in Kachin State, Shan State, Rakhine State and Kayin State, and they have approval from the National Central Committee on Protection, Containment and Treatment of COVID-19. He said they have coordinated with UN humanitarian agencies and they have reviewed expenditures concerning the implementation of action plans. Although there are many tasks at hand for staff in the field right now, the situation is important to require them to try hard. The Union Minister also urged them to submit daily reports on COVID-19 measures in the IDP camps. That's all with the local news. Let's take a look at the first report now. Myanmar people have already passed 4 days of Thingyan now. On the third day, our reporter Thoras Wizing got some stories from the community of Yangon about how their New Year lives are going and how the workers are dealing with their daily life.
It has been 3 days of Thingyan Festival on 14 April. Thingyan is now a complete different world compared to it was used to be in the past, as a consequence of the threat of globally terrifying COVID-19. The whole country is encountering a silent world of the festival. People are allowed to stay at home during these holidays. Not many people can be seen playing water or going outside.
The current situation of Yangon Thingyan is that there are no pandals in the town, so there are no Thingyan cars going around the town, and no Thingyan revelers. All the plans to travel during these holidays got cancelled because the tourist attraction sites are banned from traveling. So we are stuck in our houses.
Even the small pandas are not allowed, so that the habit of throwing water to one another cannot be spotted, even at homes. Moreover, people have to practice physical distancing according to the health guidelines of the Ministry of Health and Sports.
It is announced not to go outside from 10 to 19 April. There are no coconut palm pandals in the world, and it is complete dry and silent festival.
The food shops are allowed to open, but there has been a sharp decrease in selling force because not many people are going outside.
Last year we had the best selling, but this year the selling rate dropped to 1/3 of that of last year. The food shops and pharmacies are allowed to open during Thingyan so that we are able to continue running our shop. We sell for the convenient daily consumption of the residents living here and there, but we provide only takeaway services. It is difficult both for the sellers and buyers. We hope that this crisis will come to an end as soon as possible.
Usually, the people going around the town during the festival are the main consumers for the street food shops. This is normally the peak time of selling. The drop of consumers causes the livelihood of the shoppers to see a lot of difficulties.
I am assisting in my sister's shop since I have no order for carpentry for a month. They are not making a good sale, as you can see, and the streets look empty as well. We cannot certainly compare with same period of last year. Around this time of the previous year, there were complete traffic jams and there were loads of customers. A lot of goods are sold out in a short time. We could not even have enough water bottles or foodstuff to go on selling them last year. But now it becomes quite difficult to sell even 10 water bottles.
Some people are staying at home and flashing back the memories of the last year Thingyan, while some people are going outside to earn for living and waiting for the customers coming. Anyway, Thingyan is not as enjoyable as it was used to be, but people are enduring to win in the battle against COVID-19 through their willingness. Learning many lessons from other countries where the spread of the virus increased because of the mass gatherings and close contacts, Myanmar people prefer the new year to pass in complete silence. That's all about the third day of the Thingyan Festival. This is Dora Suisin from MI Radio.
That's a report on Yangon's community on the third day of Thingyan. All right, we'll carry on with the next report. The Yangon regional government urged people to stay at home during the 10-day holiday of the Thingyan festival, and then at the same time, the people in the working class found it difficult for their living. However, the current civilian government is making a concerted effort to avoid the outbreak of the pandemic, but it also has a negative effect on the working people.
After the Yangon regional government urged people to stay at home during a 10-day holiday or Thingyan festival, except those who are involved in the COVID-19 prevention, control and treatment activities, the people in working class felt difficult in their living. The Yangon Regional Committee on COVID-19 instructed officials of the 45 townships in the region to tell their constituents not to go outside from 10 April, except buying food and medicines. Some of the township committee informed the residents within their areas about the instruction on stay at home using loudspeakers. Speaking to Myanmar Radio about his feeling on this local order of the regional government, taxi driver U Kin Yu said.
As soon as the COVID-19 has started in the country, I think the economy is not going well. As usual, we have customers in the evening like office hour, but now there are only a few customers in the evening. It is really hard for us. Now I have heard that the Thingyan festival celebration is not allowed as well, so the financial situation is also difficult for us now. Since we are the daily wage laborer, we do not have enough savings, and I hope to finish this disease as soon as possible.
With regard to the local order, panic buying occurs because a lot of people are afraid that a particular situation will become worse. State Councillor Dawn San Suu Kyi also held a meeting via a video conference with this civil organization about the current affair. Some of the people who are kept into quarantine have tested negative, and some are already back to their homes. The regional government also encouraged the people to stay at home during the Thingyan festival, and the travel restriction will be started from 10 April. Shop owner U Georgie selling beaten nut speaking to Myanmar Radio how he is going to run his shop for Thingyan holiday with the local order, and he said.
As the local order is out, we have to follow as much as we can. Since we are from the working class, we have to earn every day whatever it rains or it is sunny. But we can't close our shop for a long time. We have to open and run our shops as much as we can. And we are also afraid of COVID-19, and we also don't want to be infected. We care about ourselves as much as we can, and we also wish the infected patients made a full and rapid recovery as soon as possible.
The Ministry of Health and Sport managed to prohibit the holding of mass gathering and festival and the other entertainment events during the Thingyan festival without being late. The current civilian government is making concerted effort to avoid an outbreak of the pneumonia-like disease that had already infected over 1 million people across 195 countries and killed more than 60,000 people. Myanmar reported its first confirmed cases on 23 March, and then the number of infections rose to 22, including 3 deaths.
That's a report on working class people finding it difficult to work during the Thingyan holidays. Stay with us as we bring you more reports on Myanmar Today. The number of commuters taking YBS buses decreased by 90% due to the severe effect of the ongoing COVID-19 crisis. YBS bus lines have seen a decrease in their daily income as they do not earn even to cover the operation cost of CNG and drivers. Some private companies have left their own YBS buses stopped. Pietain and Zayamo report.
A number of traveling people taking YBS buses decreased by 90% due to the severe effect of ongoing COVID-19 crisis. YBS bus lines have seen a decrease in their daily income as they do not earn even to cover the operation costs of the CNG and drivers. Some private companies have left their own YBS buses stopped. The public company is providing bus run at a loss, said Thingyan, aka Kutiyuli, member of Board of Directors of Power 11 Public Company Limited. Thingyan, aka Kutiyuli, member of Board of Directors of Power 11 Public Company Limited, said.
About 90% of traveling people are not going currently. For that reason, there has been a decline in our income. We haven't so far earned even to cover operation costs of CNG gas and drivers despite the runs all day. According to our walk of nature, it means direct costs. We don't get even operational costs including CNG gas and drivers. At such a time, most of the bus lines come to a stop. The buses running in Yangon daily are more than 5,000 and more than 2,500 of them are from the companies. The private bus lines stopped running at the end of March. For the time being, only the buses that belong to the public company are running at a loss. The government should provide the commuters and government servants. How to provide them is that the government should provide CNG gas to buses free of charge.
YBS bus lines should be given exemption from the funds collected by Yangon Region Transport Authority at a time when they face income losses. On the other hand, the bank loan repayment period of YBS companies should be suspended. It is not easy for YBS bus lines to withstand the long-term loss, according to the YBS bus line companies. YBS bus lines providing transport service at a loss are intended for traveling people in Yangon. As long as the traveling people exist, we have already planned to go on providing transport service, said Thingyan, member of board of directors of Power 11 Public Company Limited. Thingyan continued to say that if we stop our transport operation due to the impact of the ongoing COVID-19 crisis, the company will face a loss and drivers and the staffs of the bus lines will lose jobs. Moreover, the traveling people will have to see a difficult transport, turning a blind eye to those inconveniences that companies are going on providing transport service at a loss. We have well-managed operations sector for ensuring that all YBS bus line keeps on running. Also, during Thingyan holidays, we have planned to have all YBS bus lines remain open, said the officials of the bus line companies. YBS bus lines are experiencing some losses at the moment, but some have stopped providing transport service, thereby terminating the jobs of most of the drivers and staff for the bus lines. Myu Aung, driver of YBS 39, said,
In such a time of ongoing COVID-19 crisis, the number of passengers becomes fewer. Business is not going well. The people are staying at home for health reasons and didn't go out if they have no important matter. We are also the same matter. Our company is good for its drivers. We are driving our bus to meet the required runs for a day. About 40 buses of ours are running on a regular basis.
There are a total of 102 YBS bus lines, 124 traffic routes, and more than 4,300 buses in Yangon Transport. Yangon has a traveling people of 1.9 million. Thingyan, commuter from Thingyan, said,
Travel is not difficult and it is regular, but the number of commuters has become fewer. We have to wait for the bus just for a while. I am going out today to buy some medicines. We mostly stay at home and wash hands frequently. We use hand gel when I go out. This is all.
At the present time, some commuters and departmental staffs have to go to their destination amid fears over the COVID-19 as they have essential jobs. Some are also going out to seek basic needs. For that reason, the YBS public company is providing transport service at a loss.
Well, let's move on to the last report before we go to international news. For prevention and control of COVID-19, district and township level working committees are formed in each and every state and region in Myanmar. The government is planning to provide support to the people who make ends meet. The respective districts and townships are also planning to launch distribution on April 10th with the help of local government and charities. Pyo Thiritu and Zoeman will tell us more.
During Thingyan holidays, the public should stay at home and participate in self-quarantine to prevent currently happening COVID-19 infection efficiently. For containment and control the virus, district and township levels working committees are performing preventive measures in each and every state and region in Myanmar. In populous Mandalay, the government imposed a restrictions on the use of vehicles except the ones for moving in and out for the flow of goods from 7 to 21 April. The rest of the vehicles are restricted from traveling and are banned from living in their homes as much as possible. Also in Yangon from 10 to 19 April, the Yangon Regional Government Committee on COVID-19 and each township level committees are urging the public to stay indoors instead of going out except for the health issues. U Nyinyi, the representative of the Commuted South Constituency 1, who is also the secretary of Yangon Region Social and Management Committee, told Ama Radio that the performance of the Commuted South Committee on COVID-19. U Nyinyi, the representative of the Commuted South Constituency 1 said,
The Commuted South Committee on COVID-19 is carrying out the control and prevention processes, including the public education with the help of Social Relief Association, Thiri Mingla. The local administrations have also joined hands with NGOs. As soon as we found out the people who returned from other countries in the community, the committee went down to the ward, measured the body temperature and asked their history. Then we defined the case that it is just for home quarantine or community-based quarantine. And we are putting over 170 people and monks who returned from foreign countries hit by coronavirus such as UK and US into quarantine. We transferred them to Thiri Gongwei Monastery, the makeshift community-based facility quarantine center from the airport.
Although the public are not allowed to leave, the government is planning to provide support for the people who make ends meet. Their respective districts and townships are also planning to launch distribution on 10 April with the help of local government and charities. U Kiwin, a patron of Jimadine Committee on COVID-19, said,
COVID-19
I would like to say to the public and stay in their home while preventing the spread of this infection and taking control of the protection. Only then the infection will slow down and disappear. During coming Thingyan, we highly recommend it not to go out. If they have anything for shopping to the market, only one person should do that. In conclusion, I'd like to say is to stay at home and follow the instructions during this period.
Currently, the government has drawn up plans for disease control. At the same time, there are donations for basic foodstuffs by volunteers and expanded plans for home-based sales and discount. U Nyinyi, the representative of the Commuted South Constituency 1 said,
Currently, there is no plan to place a lockdown. In case of such an outbreak, we can only do the notifications or recommendations. The officials will probably place the lockdown, but only with well preparation. These preparations include the home-based sales, dressing with specific outfits for medical and kitchen appliances at fair price.
The grocery stores can open during 10 to 19 April, but there are only few customers in current conditions. Some are preparing to follow the government's instructions and stay at home. Do Cheridan, who is a restaurant owner in Chimarai Township, said,
Of course, we have to close. I won't open the restaurant on the 10th. Possibly, I will reopen the restaurants 2 days after Thingyan. There is no worker because they are staying at homes, and some are returning their hometowns. Even if a restaurant, there are no sales, so we have to close. We are watching the news every day for the infection. We usually wash the hands. There are hand wash basins in our restaurants, in our street, and in my home. We must also protect ourselves. I pray that the day-to-day workers like me to be healthy and safe.
This is news reporting from Myanmar Radio. I am Pyodiritu.
And that's all we have for today's reports. Let's check on some international news now. The leaders of 10 Southeast Asian countries have held a special virtual meeting with leaders of China, Japan, and South Korea to discuss the pandemic. They shared experiences and discussed potential cooperation to contain the disease. Vietnam's Prime Minister Nguyen Xuan Phuc chaired the meeting and raised concerns over economic damage. Chinese Premier Li Keqiang called for joint efforts to defeat the virus.
The battle against COVID-19 has made us more aware that we are in a community with a shared future. We must act with greater synergy and common purpose, and articulate our determination to work together in closer coordination and cooperation and make a collective response to the epidemic.
Some accused China of not sharing information about COVID-19 with the World Health Organization. Dr. Maria van Kerkhove, technical lead of WHO Health Emergencies Program, said on Monday that, quote, the sequence itself of the virus was shared by China on the 12th, and because that happened, they had PCR assays that were rapidly developed and shared globally.
With regards to virus sharing, I know your question was about China, but in terms of the development of diagnostics, the development of therapeutics and vaccines, it's really imperative that viruses are shared by all countries that have access to these samples. And given the fact that it has transmitted to a number of countries, we support the sharing of these samples to other labs so that those diagnostics, those vaccines, those therapeutics can be developed. The sequence itself of the virus was shared on the 12th, if I remember correctly. And because that happened, we had PCR assays that were rapidly developed and shared globally. I believe we posted the first PCR assay on our website on the 14th of January. And so because of that, a lot of labs were able to develop PCR assays, and so detection globally could happen very, very quickly.
In other news, the death toll and number of cases continue to rise in the U.S. from COVID-19, but hope is that those numbers will soon fall and plans to reopen the U.S. economy are taking shape. California, Oregon, and Washington on the West Coast are coordinating. New York and 5 other states on the East Coast are doing the same, learning lessons from other countries that are opening up.
You look around the world, you see warning signs from countries who have opened. And my point is to our team, I want to learn from those other countries. We are easing isolation. We want to increase economic activity. That will happen essentially through a recalibration of what are essential workers.
But the US president claims it is he who will decide when the US economy will start again. In a series of tweets and at his daily coronavirus task force meeting, Trump insisted it was his call.
The President of the United States has the authority to do what the President has the authority to do, which is very powerful. The President of the United States calls the shots. If we weren't here for the states, you would have had a problem in this country like you've never seen before. We were here to back them up.
President Trump is also set to unveil his counsel to reopen the US economy. Included are his daughter, Ivanka Trump, and Jared Kushner, his son-in-law.
Spain, the hardest-hit European country, saw its death toll hit 18,000 today. This comes as it reports the number of new infections dropped to its lowest level since the country imposed a nationwide lockdown last month. Confirmed cases of infection rose by over 2,400 to 172,000. Restrictions have helped to slow a spiraling death rate that reached its peak in early April. Health Minister Salvador Illa said that Spain remains on lockdown. Shops, bars and public spaces are to stay closed until at least April 26th. But some economic activities, including construction and manufacturing, were allowed to reopen.
I see a lot more people. It seems to me that the decision to allow non-essential activities is a bit hasty. But I also understand the circumstances at an economic level. But I still find it quite hasty. Please return to work. I see too many people today.
I think that they did this at the right time because we really need it. Just when we were going to run out of food, we returned to work. For me, it is very good. People are keeping a safe distance, and I think it is very good.
Well, that's all we have for now. Thanks for joining me on Myanmar Today. I'm Henry Zin. Have a great day, everyone. Stay home, stay safe, help yourselves to help the world. I'll see you again. Goodbye.